Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Nuremberg, Germany, lived a Lutheran engineer named Johann von Trautmann. Johann wasn't like other engineers. He had a brilliant mind, always filled with questions and ideas. Instead of focusing on typical engineering projects, Johann had a different passion. He was fascinated by alchemy and explosives, especially the creation of gunpowder. Nuremberg was a city of innovation, known for its skilled craftsmen and incredible inventions. Johann fit right in. He spent his days in his workshop, a mysterious place cluttered with flasks, tubes, and odd contraptions. The city folk often wondered what magic he was brewing behind those doors. Johann's dream was to create superior gunpowder, something more effective than anything available at the time. Gunpowder was important for many things, like mining and defense, and Johann knew he could make it better. He believed the secret lay in one ingredient: saltpeter. Saltpeter, a key component of gunpowder, held immense potential if it could be refined faster and more potently. Johann called his project Das Schwarzgeheimnis, which means the Black Secret. He imagined a process that refined saltpeter swiftly and with greater potency, creating a more powerful gunpowder. Johann started experimenting tirelessly, combining science with a dash of alchemy. Every day, Johann mixed different substances, carefully measuring and recording his results. Finally, after many trials, Johann crafted gunpowder that was unlike any before it, stronger, more efficient, and very much his own invention. The city began to whisper about Johann's successes, his magical creations, and the wonders of Das Schwarzgeheimnis. Title: The Prelude to the 30 Years' War. In a time bubbling with religious tension, the defenestration of Prague marked the starting point of a conflict that would envelop much of Europe, the 30 Years' War. The year was 1618. In the city of Prague, tension was at an all-time high. Imagine overhearing whispers of distrust and anger on the cobblestone streets. This was a place where Catholic rulers, who had much power, clashed with Protestant forces. People were upset with King Ferdinand II, who wanted to end Protestant worship. This disagreement boiled over into a dramatic event. Now, when we talk about the defenestration of Prague, we're talking about something quite unusual. You see, when someone defenestrates, it means they throw someone out of a window. That's exactly what happened. Officials working for the king were thrown out of a high castle window by angry Protestants. Luckily, they landed in a pile of soft hay and survived. Yet this shocking act set off a series of events that led to years of war. In another part of this tale, there was a man named Trautmann, a smart and creative thinker. Trautmann saw the troubles in Europe and turned his attention to creating something special: the Blitzschuss. Imagine a cannon, but not your usual heavyweight one. This Blitzschuss was unlike any of its kind, light and easy to move. Trautmann thought his invention would give his side an edge, being a mechanical defense that could quickly transport and fire upon the enemy. Trautmann was passionate about his work. He viewed his invention as a purely German tool, aiming to protect the Protestant cause against Catholic forces in the empire. His vision was to change warfare by introducing mobility and speed. Fields full of colorful uniforms clashed, while his Blitzschuss became known across regions, enhancing the spark of courage for his comrades. The war raged on far beyond the efforts of Trautmann's invention. It was a complex affair with shifting alliances and battles. Eventually, the Treaty of Westphalia was signed in 1648, bringing some resolution to the chaos. The defenestration of Prague and Trautmann's Blitzschuss are moments that remind us how tension, creativity, and determination shaped history, leaving us stories that continue to fascinate and inspire. Once upon a time, during the 30 Years' War in the heart of Europe, there lived two remarkable characters. One was Albrecht von Wallenstein, a powerful and ruthless general known as the Generalissimo. And the other was Trautmann, a brilliant inventor with a secret, a hidden talent for creating superior weapons. Wallenstein was not only feared but also respected for his ability to enforce order where chaos ruled. He believed in the power of efficiency and often ignored theological debates that divided others. He was focused on winning battles and had no time for distractions. Trautmann, on the other hand, was a man of great intelligence and creativity. He crafted weapons that could tip the balance of war in favor of those who wielded them. His inventions were so advanced that people whispered about their existence, fearing their power but awed by their genius. One day, the two men met. Wallenstein, always searching for ways to strengthen his army, saw in Trautmann an opportunity. He approached the inventor with an offer, a near-limitless budget and protection from any harm. In return, Trautmann would provide weapons that could ensure victory. Trautmann was tempted by the promise of resources and safety. He had always worked in secret, fearing that others might misuse his creations. But Wallenstein seemed different. Trautmann believed Wallenstein could bring order to the war-torn lands. And so, Trautmann transferred his loyalty to Wallenstein, convinced that this general was the only one capable of achieving his vision, a world where efficiency ruled and peace prevailed. With Wallenstein's support, Trautmann began developing weapons that were faster, stronger, and more precise than ever before. As battles raged and armies clashed, Wallenstein commanded his soldiers with unmatched strategic skills, relying on Trautmann's creations to maintain his advantage. The tales of their successes spread far and wide, and indeed, they brought a form of order to the chaos. But in war, even the best-laid plans can falter. Trautmann's inventions pushed the boundaries of what was possible, yet they also attracted the attention of others who envied Wallenstein's power and innovation. Thus, the partnership of these two incredible men became a legend, a story of ambition, power, and the search for order amidst disorder. In the end, they showed that sometimes, even in times of great turmoil, ingenuity and leadership could carve a path toward stability. Once upon a time, during the tumultuous era of the 30 Years' War, a brilliant man named Trautmann crafted gleaming weapons, each piece forged with precision and expertise. These instruments of war were meant to help a powerful leader named Wallenstein in his quest to conquer lands and assert his dominance. Wallenstein was a commanding figure, leading an army that marched northwards through Europe like a storm, devastating everything in its path. Trautmann was well aware of the destruction his creations caused. He saw the mighty cannon blasts tear through fortified walls and soldier lines, like cracks spreading through glass. He heard the fearful cries of the villagers fleeing their homes and felt the rumble of chaos echoing with every battle fought. Despite the horrors that unfolded, Trautmann held on to a belief. Perhaps, he thought, the war, for all its terrible moments, might bring about a swift peace. In his heart, he wished that by providing Wallenstein with the means to secure quick victories, he could also help end the conflict sooner rather than later. Back home, Trautmann wrote passionate letters detailing his inner struggle. These letters were filled with a mix of pride in his art and deep moral dilemmas. He wrestled with thoughts about the price of power and the ethics of using his skills to create weapons. Could there truly be justification in the destruction he witnessed? Trautmann pondered if the ends could justify the means and sought solace in the hope that peace awaited at the war's end. Although his weapons indeed helped Wallenstein's army flourish, Trautmann found himself questioning whether peace could truly be born from the ashes of war. He dreamed of a world without conflict, a vision of silent streets and thriving cities, where people lived without fear. Yet, he knew his creations were also part of a grand pursuit for power, a pursuit he was entangled in like ivy on a castle wall. The letters Trautmann wrote home became a window into his soul, revealing the duality of pride and guilt. It is a story of a man trying to make sense of a world torn apart by war, searching for answers amid the smoke of battle and the whispers of conscience. In the end, Trautmann's tale reminds us of the difficult choices people face in times of conflict and the hope for brighter days, where peace reigns over the lands his weapons once ravaged. The Edict of Restitution, Emperor Ferdinand II's command. Once upon a time, in the early 17th century, Europe was a land of different kingdoms and states, each with its own beliefs. People belonged mainly to two religious groups, the Catholics and the Protestants, and they often disagreed about many things. Emperor Ferdinand II was the ruler of the Holy Roman Empire, which was a big collection of many small kingdoms and regions in Europe. Ferdinand was a Catholic, and he wanted to make the Holy Roman Empire stronger by making Catholicism the only religion everyone followed. In 1629, Ferdinand II made a very important decision. He issued a command called the Edict of Restitution. This edict was like a royal order that declared all the lands and properties which had been taken from the Catholics by the Protestants should be returned to the Catholic Church. Many people feared what this edict meant. It was a huge deal because, until then, the Protestants had enjoyed some freedom and lands they had gained during the earlier times of the Reformation, which was a movement where many people started practicing Protestant Christianity. But now, with the Edict of Restitution, things were about to change, especially for the Protestants. They feared that this meant their homes and churches would be taken away to be given back to the Catholics. It felt like the emperor was trying to erase all the freedom they had worked hard to gain. In a small village, a wise scholar named Trautmann had been watching everything closely. He had always hoped for peace and harmony between the different religions. His worst fear was that his own talents and efforts might end up serving the emperor's plans to impose Catholicism by force and not by peace. Trautmann believed in creating a society where everyone could choose their belief peacefully. But with the Edict of Restitution in effect, he worried that his genius was being used to support tyranny and not the order he had hoped for. The world suddenly felt like a chessboard, with kingdoms and emperors making moves that changed the lives of thousands of people overnight. Protestants and Catholics found themselves caught in a clash of beliefs and power struggles. Although he was only one person, Trautmann hoped that one day, people would learn to live together peacefully despite the differences in their beliefs. The Edict of Restitution was a reminder that sometimes, even good intentions can lead to unfortunate outcomes when they are not guided by fairness and compassion. So, with every change in the emperor's commands, children and adults alike learned the importance of understanding and respect for one another, and the hope continued that peace would eventually bring order back to the land. The 30 Years' War begins with the defenestration of Prague in 1618. Protestants threw 3 Catholic officials out a window, sparking the conflict. In the midst of the tension, an inventor emerges with a vision. His name is Trautmann, a determined and skilled German engineer. Trautmann dedicates himself to creating the Blitzschuss, a unique field cannon. This invention is light, mobile, and entirely revolutionary for its time. Trautmann sees it as a defense against the Catholic imperial forces. His work represents a fusion of German ingenuity and mechanical precision. The Blitzschuss is not just a weapon, it's a symbol of resistance. Trautmann tirelessly refines his design to ensure effectiveness in battle. His efforts are fueled by the desire to protect his homeland. As war looms closer, the Blitzschuss nears its final phase. Protestants see hope in this mechanical marvel, a new beacon of power. The field cannon stands ready, a testament to Trautmann's vision. In the time of upheavals, the Blitzschuss becomes a new ray of hope. Will Trautmann's invention alter the course of history in this war? In the midst of the 30 Years' War, a conflict that raged across Europe, a very important figure made his way onto the stage. His name was Gustavus Adolphus, and he was the King of Sweden. Gustavus Adolphus was renowned for being a wise and strong ruler. In 1630, he landed in Germany with great plans to change the course of the war. His arrival was a big deal because he brought fresh hope to the Protestant people in Germany who were struggling against the forces of the emperor. During this time, the emperor's main man, Count Wallenstein, was losing favor. Wallenstein had been a tough and powerful leader of the imperial army, but the German princes were unhappy with him. Eventually, they forced the emperor to let Wallenstein go. Without Wallenstein, many people who supported the emperor were left feeling lost, including a man named Trautmann. He was an intelligent man skilled in creating plans and blueprints for war. Feeling betrayed and without a protector, Trautmann faced a dilemma. What should he do with his secret knowledge and the blueprints he had worked on? He made a brave decision to take these to Gustavus Adolphus and the Swedish forces. This was a risky move, but Trautmann believed it was the right thing to do. By sharing his knowledge with Gustavus Adolphus, he helped the Swedish king and changed the direction of the conflict. Gustavus Adolphus and Trautmann's new alliance became a cornerstone for the success of the Swedish army, making them a formidable force in Germany. Gustavus Adolphus's leadership and strategic thinking won several battles, and he became known as one of the greatest military leaders of his time. Though the war was long and difficult, Gustavus Adolphus's arrival and the decisions made by people like Trautmann changed history forever. Their courage and wisdom are remembered as key moments in shaping Europe's future during the 30 Years' War.